You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a pole, and we'll go fishing and crawl that hole, honey, baby mine. Hello, YouTube. I'm Rick Stivers. Welcome to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is a special request. I wasn't going to do a video today, but I got a special request, and I'm leaving on vacation tomorrow, and I won't be back for a while. To do this 088 Johnson, it's a model 088A, and this came from a request from a Steve out there, and asked me if it was possible for me to do one. And so since I'm going to be on vacation for a while, I figured if I was going to do it, I better get it done now. I picked this reel up about 6 months ago at an antique mall in New Braunfels, Texas, and it was sitting there, and it seemed to be in reasonably good shape. And they had a couple of Shakespeares too, but they wanted way more for the Shakespeares than what they wanted for this Johnson. So I opted to go for the Johnson, and I didn't feel $10 was too incredibly bad to pay for it. So I did. And anyway, we're going to take this thing apart, service it, and get it back out there. And we're going to start off by taking off the cover. And then we'll move on to removing the rotor. There's a spinner head. Okay, well, this is a different spinner head than what I've seen before. Let's see. Okay, this spring inside this, I believe, is what's acting as the trip for the button. So let's take a look and see if this thing actually works. Let's get this back on here real quick so we know what we're dealing with from the start. Is a very stiff reel, so the grease in it is very old. Let's go ahead and put it back together real quick and check and make sure that it actually functions. Okay, so when you push the button, it comes up and locks in place. When you rotate it, yep, it drops down like it's supposed to. It's not dropping quite as quick as I would think it should, but that's just due to the old grease. Yeah, look how slow that's coming down. Yeah, with some new fresh grease, that'll take care of that. All right, so it is functional. The spring is doing like it's supposed to be. It's catching on this cam right here, and it's hard for you to see that cam because it's all covered in grease. But yeah, it seems to be working okay. Let's go ahead now and remove the spool lock clip, and we should then be able to take the, there you go, there's the spool out, and we'll clean all that up. Now we're going to go over here and see about taking the handle off. Okay, there we go, and let's unscrew the drag knob. Okay, and there is our tensioner for the drag. And at this point, we'll go ahead and take out these two screws. And they appear to be number 2 Phillips. Okay, now we should be able to take the side plate out. Get the main gear with it. There we go. And the main gear fell out. Yeah, it goes in like so. And that's the anti-reverse. And it looks like it could use a little oiling. But aside from that, it looks okay. There's the sleeve. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this apart where you can see it, how it comes together. Okay. We're going to take this out of here. There's your anti-reverse. And you don't want to, that's staked in, so you don't want to cut that loose. But what we will do is clean it up and get it to where it's moving easier, because right now it's not moving real easy. And we'll spray it with a little WD-40, and that will not be the final lubricant on this, but it will most likely let it loosen up quite a bit, and it has. There we go. All right, and we will put, after we clean this up good, we'll put some regular oil on that, and that'll move freely. Okay, set that over here. Now on here we've got the sleeve that fit inside there, and it's pretty grody, but it's okay. And then over this we've got our anti-reverse cog, and that's what catches on that claw over there. Okay, and see the direction it's going? We want to make sure it goes back in that direction. It's easy to put it on the opposite way, and then it's bad. It won't work. Okay, so we'll take that off. Now we should have a drag washer here. That's good, and we're going to clean that up. It's got a lot of shine to it. I don't think we want quite so much shine on it. And then we come to the other side and push it out. There's our main gear, and I would have thought normally there is a washer on the inside of this style, but there doesn't appear to be on this one. Okay, I don't have an IPB, illustrated parts breakdown for it, so I don't know for certain. All right, now we've taken out the screw here that held this button in, so we can take the button out, and now we should be able to remove the axle shaft. And this is the part that's moving so terribly slowly. There we go. A little wiggling around, it should come out. There we go. And this side stays in, there we go. And that needs a good cleanup. And this part here, see how slow that is to move back? That and this old grease on here is what's making that thing move so slow. So we're going to clean all these parts up, and we should be able to put this back together for Steve and show him what a good functional one goes, how it goes together, and everything it's going to need to make it work. Got all the parts cleaned up now, and we're ready to start putting it back together. And we're going to start off with the axle shaft. We'll go ahead and oil it good. And the way to put this back in is to slide the tail shaft, the spring portion, up in there first, then pull it around, and then slide the axle into the hole, like that. Okay? All right, now, some people ask the purpose of this button, and the only purpose that this serves is it's a button lock. When you flip it up, it will lock the button so it can't be depressed for like when you're storing it and you don't want anything to accidentally push the button and release the line. Okay, that's all it's for. Okay, now we're going to come back and we're going to put a little bit of grease in the hole where the screw goes, and we're going to put a little bit right here. And now we're going to grease the pinion gear and put some grease right here where the spring rides. Okay, and we should be able to put the button in place like that, and we won't have to worry about where that's going to fit until we get that side plate together. Okay, now when I took this apart, I mentioned the fact first off that it's kind of shiny, and I really would like to sand this a little bit, and I didn't get the sandpaper. So there we go, there's a piece right here. What I'm going to do is just very gently sand this just to take the polish off of it. Okay. There we go. Okay, and I also said that I really felt that there should be a drag washer on this other side, and so I went and found one. It's not a perfect fit. I could probably make one that would be a perfect fit, but I don't have the time. So we're going to use this one, and it's a pretty close fit. Okay, so we'll put that drag washer on there and slide this in like that, and there's our drag for that side. And we'll come back, put the drag washer on the other side, and we're going to install now the anti-reverse cog on like that. With that on, we can come back, put some oil on the shaft, slide that on there like so, and now we'll put some grease on the sleeve, and we'll slide all, by the way, before we slide this in, let's go ahead and put a drop of oil here on the anti-reverse, now that it's moving freely. And now we can slide this back in like so. And now, once we get the anti-reverse claw where it belongs, there you go. It now functions properly. See there? There's anti-reverse. And it will activate 3 times per each revolution. All right. Now, we're going to come back, add on this tension washer back, and reinstall our drag star. Okay. There we go. That applies the tension here to our drag. And we can wait on the handle for now. Let's go ahead at this point and grease the main gear. Now we don't want to get grease on that drag washer. We only want the grease to be out here on, yep, got it on there anyway. So we'll take and try to take some of that excess off. There we go. All right, we got that greased, and we're ready to reinstall this. Now it's got this shoulder right here that goes into a slot right here in the case. Okay, so you gotta get that shoulder to go in first, and then that should drop in like that. Then we're gonna come back and wiggle this around until we get this screw to go through the button. And we don't have it starting quite yet. It's not going in the hole. Let's try it again. There. Now it's going in. Okay, I'll do the same thing down here, except we don't have a button. Okay, and now we'll put the handle back on, like so. Screw the nut back down. Okay, remember, this is our button lock. When that's up like that, that keeps the button from being able to push when storage. When it's down, you're ready to go. We'll come back here and we will reinstall the spool. Now the spool has got a hole in it right there. See that hole? Okay, and that hole is going to drop over this pin right here. Okay, so line those up. Get it to drop on. There we go. Once it locks, it shouldn't rotate anymore. Okay, and we're ready to slide the clip back into place. Now I left just enough line on this spool to be able to test it. Okay, but I didn't pull a piece of it out to test it with. So let me do that real quick. Let's get hold of that line and pull it out of there. I want to be able to test the drag. I left on just enough line to be able to test the drag. Okay, So let's do this again with the line stayed out like that. Okay. And we'll put this back on. Okay. Got that locked in. And then we should be able to push the button down. And let's put a little bit of oil right here. You could use grease there. And we'll get this rotor on where the flat goes. And then reinstall the nut. Like so. Okay, and if it's functioning properly, we should be able to hit the button. It should lock up. And as we rotate it, it should drop down like it just did. Okay? Just like that. Oh, and I pulled the line back in. Fortunately, I kept enough of it out. There we go. All right. Okay. And the drag on this is actually will cause the spool to go backward. Not the spool, but the rotor to go backwards. Where it slips on the on that drag washer that we just put in. Okay, so there's the line. So let's get this going back on straight, which so far I'm not having any luck with. There we go. Okay, there we go. Rotate the handle, and we should, it now engages. And now we got the drag too tight, so let's loosen it up some. Still too tight. Loosen it up some more. There we go. There's the drag. And if we wanted to tighten it up, we just adjust it a little bit. Yeah, much tighter. Okay. And that, Steve, is how to service the Johnson 088A. And it's a nice little reel. Nice, good little freshwater reel. And I hope that this answers all your questions for it. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.